Hello, everybody. Let me open that panel with the participants. Okay, so hello and thank you for being here. Whom I see right now is Chris and Greg and Joseph and Julio and Paul and other people. So everybody is welcome. I will meanwhile share the screen and give you the first links. So that is my screen here. And that's what we're going to do. Okay, so let us start with greetings. I'm going to the chat here. And I'm saying hello. Well, I'm not saying hello and welcome from Houston, Texas. All right, of all places, Houston, Texas. And thank you from Vallejo. Very nice. And you can keep saying hello wherever you are from. So number one, I'm giving you the link. That is the link to this page. There you are. You can type it or copy paste. Here you are. And that's what we're doing. Advances in AI webinar, meaning that it's a webinar and it's talking about advances in AI. And every time we talk about what's new in the AI world from the point of view of the developer. And if you want to see, so where do I start? I'm a developer, but maybe I'm new there, because if you're not new, you will tell something here, something that you know. But if you are new, then you can click here, learning path. It is called learning path. I'll answer mem mal in a second. Okay, so here you are. That's where you will go. And here you will see all of the courses that we have surveyed, looked, tried, mostly important tries, because all that webinar is about, hey, it's a new interesting technology, let's try it. So at the end, you will see that we are over 100 by now, and well, I haven't recorded that. If we go back to our advances in AI, then we will be looking at semantic caching for AI agents. That's what we will be looking, and I think that I can copy that and really put it there. There you are. Or maybe put it there, but it will be there. 93 it will be. And what does it mean, 93? That means that if you go all the way to the right, there will be a link to that same lab in our repository. So if you open our repository, which is open, and it is right here, OpenAI Labs, I have already pushed, I remember 93 semantic cache with Redis. So we'll talk about that. I'm giving you the link here. If I can move that invisible window away, I can give it to you guys here. That's an our repo, but it will be a little time before we get to that, because right now we're starting right here. So that's what it is all about, trying new technology and having personal opinion about that. So first of all, let us look at the news. The news are from Andrew Ng, but they cover a lot of different things, and mostly Andrew was at the conference, AI conference. They are all built in AI. That's all very exciting. And then he again talks about there are 2 points of view, positive and negative. The positive, and he is definitely on the positive side, as I am as well. talks about that people are building great things with AI, and just boy, it's so interesting. On the other hand, there are people who are skeptical and they say, no, no, it's all a bubble. And there are two kinds of bubble. He doesn't go into the second one right now, but I will quickly. So he says there is an MIT study, and it says that 95% of all AI pilots are failing. Well, he has a problem with that whole statement because that's a misleading headline. At least in that place where he is, nobody's failing, everybody is doing very well with AI. That is what the news is about. By the way, the bad side is that you hear some strange news that AI will fail because just the companies will go bankrupt. You hear that. I asked AI what he thinks. He says that yeah, some people might fail, but that's normal. That's what he says. Then we will see that course. I will look at that course, and then there are news that today I didn't find that extremely interesting. So we're back right here, and these were the news. The news were that in some places of the world it's very exciting, nobody's failing, but instead building their applications extremely fast. Well, on that subject, I got an email right here, and it's try the new codex. So I looked at it, I clicked. Uh, Sorry, I'm stupid, so I didn't know what to do. So, like Codex SCLI, where's my Codex CLI? Well, I pasted it into chat and it explained to me how to do it. So it takes a little push. That's what I always find with the OpenAI guys. They they could explain it better, but okay, they rely on AI that exists. So don't click here. Instead, I open. Let me open that. Let me go back, keep that, and open a project, some project that I have. And I have a vested interest in looking at this project. So it is here, and then it is probation. Let's see. No, it's lowercase probation. Okay, so that's a project. It's an interesting, nice project. You see a few layers. It has backend, it has front end, and it has an application. I could even show you that application. Let me do that. I think it will be more fun talking about things like that. So it's right here, probation. That's application. Okay. So, of course, you need the username and the password, and I have that username. And that is one of the applications that we're building. It has the documents. These are probation documents, so that the guy did something wrong and now he has sit at home and check in with the officer. Well, you need to automate that and improve that. So I will very quickly show you that document and extracts the probation report. Okay, so why am I interested in that? It's because we need to test it. And I have a daily meeting with my developer or two developers, and I hope he's not here. He's bored testing, right? The developers are never good at testing. I think you would agree. If I ask you this, if I go to the chat, so are developers good at testing on the level of one very bad, and three good, how would you judge that? Well, it's a leading question. Of course, I want to say developers are not good at testing. Nicholas, you are very nice because I think they're on one. Wow, Brian, you must be a different person. Go, okay. Maybe all developers that I saw are lazy at testing. So here's the problem. I read the book about testing. And the book said that, first of all, developers are psychologically, they can't even click on that button that they know will crash. So they're careful with their application. The very famous joke, like, what do developers answer to the testers when they find the bug? Usually they say, okay, it doesn't work, but how does it feel? And the kind of an answer, or it works on my machine, all kinds of answers. But the devious testers, they really know how to crash things. And they find the marginal conditions where it most likely will break, and on and on. Okay, so I realized that, well, we didn't test all we had to. And then it's very embarrassing. The police people come and they start using the forms, and it's a smart enough form. For example, there you are. Show me all the files that people used drugs and ended up going into probation. Okay, so look for that, and it finds all the cases where they did use drug. Okay, let's do that and click inside. Here I am. And here you can ask any smart question like, what drugs did he use? Okay. Well, that's all he used. Well, quite a lot. Not sure. But in any case, that's what I wanted to show. That thing requires a lot of testing on various uh, application level, and we're not good at that. Okay, so immediately I call my friend, and he suggests, yeah, I have a girl, and she will be a good tester for you. And and then I realize, what am I doing? In today's age, I'm asking for a person to help me testing. So I first say, I go to that project, and in this project, I say codecs, because that is what this thing told me. It said, we have a new model, codecs. Okay. Um, I think I need to keep saying something, probably. Hello? Now, that is a codex, so it's mostly about developers. He will not be fast, but can you help testing? He will be thinking. He will not rush to answer anything. Absolutely, that's what AI always tells you. What I wanted to say is that one mistake that I make usually is not using AI enough. I think that is my major mistake. We already use it. I just showed you the app, and you can ask any question. But more than that, absolutely don't rush to work with anyone, because, or at least don't try to use only human. It should always be human and AI. And that's what I wanted to show. So we started right here. We started by looking at the news from Andrew, and he is excited about vibe coding. That's a new term, meaning quick coding with AI. He also would encourage to use codecs, but there are lots of them, and that's what we're coming to. We're coming to different models. Okay, let me start at least one application here, and that's IntelliJ. That is IntelliJ, okay, but beyond that, there is a AI component. So I want to go to my regular, more regular project. And on the right here, I have all kinds of AI help. So there's GitHub Copilot, and I can ask this, and I can ask it in the ask mode or in the agentic mode. So it will be helping me and maybe even changing my files or maybe just telling me more stuff about this. So in that case, I was looking for where in my code do I have an API calls, and it found them. Okay, what I wanted to say is that now that AI is everywhere, and I'm going back here, Codex is one more, but that's mistake you might potentially make, and I make it all the time when I need help, but don't think that you need help from a human. It's equal partnership. Sometimes it will be an AI. All right. I said it enough times, I think, because it helps me tremendously, a lot. Now that I know that, I'm going to continue and I want to show you a few more interesting things. Now, the real interesting thing will come right here. But all of them were interesting throughout the week because I'm collecting things that amaze me throughout the week. And the first thing that I noticed was this. It was a generative AI guide. Well, today everybody is talking about generative AI, guys. You see, that's a popular thing. They watched by multiple people, forked by multiple people, and it's just a search engine optimization place because you can talk about what other people do and that will bring you lots of clicks. So that's what I found that on I think Twitter, but the end result was that yeah, great collection, very nice. In fact, I have more links. Everybody's talking about generative AI, and more are talking about agentic. So great. It's a nice place that I showed you. But what I really wanted to do is, it seems like the publication was, it was found here, but it was agentic AI crash. So supposedly, the $2,000 worth of content were dumped to to GitHub, and you can learn all you can for free. That's an Agentic AI course, originally by MIT, but by now you will question any such statement because the information is completely free, fully available. So, okay, that's Agentic AI course. How many Agentic AI courses did we already look at? So, if we go here, back, right, and if we then look at our AI education. And if we just look for the word agentic, well, it seems in the dozens, right? 31. So, yes, there are agentic courses. That looks like a nice one. And then if you read the small print, it says claim the course was taught at MIT. Well, it turns out instructors were from MIT, but no, that course was not taught there. It also claimed that the course is $2,500 and now it's free. Now, it's not the complete truth, it's only a short course, so I'm not going to go through it. I think it's still a good link. The link that I gave you talks about a lot of courses, and you can learn all you want non-stop. You can also learn all you want here, but let's go to the horse's mouth. Now, where is the horse's mouth? That is found right here in the next thing I'm going to talk about, Google's Guide. Not only Google's Guide, but let's look first at Google's Guide. So if we can, We will look at Startup Technical Guide for AI Agents. Okay, that is from Google. That's a good point. I really want to download that if I can and look at it on my desktop. Download. There you are. Here it is. Okay, so Google prepared a new guide for building AI agents. Let's look at that. We have already looked at AI agent building guides a lot. Everybody seems to publish one. For example, OpenAI preempted Google like by a few days, and they published their own guideline. I think I have it on the desktop. Let's see. Maybe I do. Yes, I do. So look at how many do I have. OpenAI Practical Guide. Before there were other guides. Now we're looking at Google. All right. What will it have? Let's look at it. What is a agentic? How it's different from others? How to build it? Now that one will be quite specific. Almost every time you look at the built-in AI agent, it comes with a hook. It's, do you want to use Gemini? That is Google's take. So everybody publishes their own way to build agents. Agents are all the news. Andrew ain't just mentioned agent and something that maybe works for hundreds of people, hundreds of percent of people, and maybe fails. But agency is all the talk of the town. Now this one is, do you want to build it with Google AI? How about OpenAI? Well, they pretended to make it more generic. Another person who made it very generic was Andrew Ng himself. He, first of all, started his course with the claim that he invented it all in the first place. And maybe he did because he has a picture about how he invents. Okay, let's not argue is it agent or not an agent, but let's call it agentic if it's anything to do with it. So I think his course, which we looked at his course. In here at close to the end, Agentic AI purely in Python, 5 sections to the course right here. That's where you can listen to Andrew, and that is where it is in our repository. Okay, so lots of stuff, lots of agentics, and that's what we're doing. We're surveying what's the current state of affairs, state of the art, and they tell you how you would build it if you're building it on top of Google. All right. Well, there must be some conclusion to all of that, and some conclusion there will be. So we looked at this news, we looked at what you can build, but I would say keep it in mind, but don't go there. I prefer to always listen to the horse's mouth, which we'll come to. And the course that Andrew Ng sent out this week, and the one that I want to show you, is this one, semantic caching. So I'm going right there. Okay, it's just the latest course number 93. Okay, and if it's too many, don't do them all, but start with the first one. It will be already, you will be after that, you'll be on your own knowing what you want to do and what you don't. I'll show you the first slides, what the ideas are here. So, okay, what can they tell us? Who are they? They are Redis. Now, what is Redis? It's a well-known open source database that stores everything in memory. I think essentially that's the definition. It's in-memory cache. So to really be interested, you must be interested in building things with in-memory caches and speeding things up. If you are, Then they give you one more idea. The idea, and I'll make it bigger so that you can see. The idea is that we will help you. That's the claim. We will help you to make your AI agent. Now, truth is, it doesn't have to be AI agent, any application, but they mean specifically AI application. And it will be even faster than it used to be. How? Because a lot of time and, by the way, cost are spent on asking AI. But if you already asked AI that same question, or somebody else asked AI that same question, why don't you go to the cache and find an answer? It's up to you to decide how useful that is. So you're speeding up an AI implementation by checking, did somebody ask this question? Here's your answer. Okay, but that by itself is only Redis implementation. What they have added is that let us store the answer by meaning. I mean the question by meaning and not by words. For example, if somebody already asks you, can I get a refund? And then somebody else comes with the next question, I want my money back. Well, it's the same question. And therefore, give him the same answer. Well, that's the whole story. I'll let you decide. In fact, I will ask how much of a great novelty that is. It's nice, it's new, and they give you details on what to do. So I'm going. Maybe I misspell. Okay, it's your opinion. What do you think? Okay, but that is what they do, and they suggest on semantic caching. Uh, It looks at mini, not 8 mini, and for that it uses embeddings. Now, what is embedding? Of course, you all know embeddings are converting the uh, words, the phrases, the questions to a vector. And now that the vector is converted by meaning, then two vectors are close when their meaning is similar. So that's what we will do. We will use an embedding that will come, by the way, from them, will come from Redis. They claim to have invented an embedding that's especially good to work with the Redis. Okay, so what you will do is you will use that embedding that they will suggest, and you will judge every next question by how close to other questions. And as they say, you build a cache, they will teach you how to do it. You will be using embed and you will measure the distances. And after that, the radius comes into play. So the only thing that changes is the way you store it in the database by meaning. Okay, so then you will have the regular Redis tricks. For example, time to live, play with cache size for different users or groups, and use the embedding models for accuracy. The end result is the cache gradually warms up and has more and more of relevant stuff. Then you will manipulate the hit rate, the precision. Hit rate, they mean I am not even hitting the LLM. I know what the answer is. Precision recall, cache size, and memory, all of that is covered in the course. And the AI agent will then do a bit more. It will take the question coming from the next user, it will break it into smaller parts, and you will observe how it works. Now, if you remember how is Redis or similar things are used in the cloud, then usually you just add it on Amazon. You will add it to your system, and it will improve the speed. And that's just click here, and that's all. That's all you need. But there is more. There is more to that. Okay, that is the latest greatest course. And that ends what I wanted to show. But I have one more little thing. So first of all, I'm going back to the chat, and I remember there was a question. Where is the recording shared? Yes, especially the follow-up email takes you to the out of date. That's very precisely formulated. So they will fix that link. Meanwhile, I know where that really is. So if you go to Elephant Scale and go to the webinars, and on that webinar, you click on register now, which is somewhat misleading, but it's there. And now at the very bottom, there should be a YouTube. So that YouTube should be correct. Let's see. Okay, 1 day ago. That's nice. And 1 day, 9 days. So as you go, it kind of warms up, but that's the link that you really need. I'll say that's at YouTube channel. They will also update the email. We noticed that, and they will update the email to point to the right place. That's one thing. Another interesting thing is that I'm oh, continuing with the security. So we have a security webinar, and we have a not too many, but very precious people there, and we are discussing the next steps. It's a lot of fun. I want to show you just one little thing there, and that little thing is the no Twitter channel. So what I've done is trying to click to the right place. What I've done is created a channel. Okay, so we go to X. That's my personal channel, and I'm going with the assumption that you really need to be current in security if you want to be anything. Now, being current in security is very hard, and therefore I suggest have a list. Like this is my list by now, 15 people there, all good people. Okay, and these are the nice people who are very smart and very savvy in both security and also at the same time AI. So that's a list. So my discovery was that first of all, there is a list that I'm building very carefully. It was pretty hard to do because I used AI, of course, but AI was giving me more than 50% errors. So now that's a real one. Lots of fun on that channel of security because the first thing that we do is, of course, how do you hack? And one of the ideas that came up was, well, who is the best hacker? It's the famous Kevin Mitnick. What did he do? As soon as he got out of prison, he wrote a book. He wrote a book. And what was his first book? It was, no, it was not The Art of Invisibility, but The Art of Deception. First book, 2007. And that book helps you a lot to hack AI. That's because, of course, AI is what? Artificial intelligence. In other words, it's our human intelligence made artificial. And whatever worked on humans works on AI as well. And that's what I'm putting in the book. I'm going through the book, finding out the greatest ideas. Of course, again, AI can do it for you, but nothing substitutes your own intellect. And obviously, I'm on a very positive side that we are partners. This AI is not going away, contrary to pessimistic ideas. It's here to stay, and uh, it can learn from human hackers, and human hackers can learn from that. Okay, with that, I think I'm done. I have covered all of that. We looked at the news. You can always look at these links again to get to this page. All you need to do is click here. Okay, and then you can look at what we covered today, what we discussed, even the latest and greatest courses. Now I will shut up for a minute and ask you for questions, suggestions, and so on. Here I am. Okay, so it seems like I was too good. I explained everything, no questions. I didn't suggest anything very wrong because then there would be a correction. If so, I wish everybody a very good week and a very good year to come. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Jim. All right, saying goodbye until next time. And thank you, Gatir.